So today we're going to unpack a really profound roadmap for the mind, and it comes straight from the Buddhist canon. It's called the Āneñjasappāyasutta. Now this text lays out a step-by-step journey from, that constant pull of desire all the way to a state of truly unshakable peace. But, and this is the cool part, it holds this critical twist right near the very top that completely redefines the entire goal of the journey.
So our plan for today basically follows this ancient path, and I want you to think of it like we're climbing a mountain. We're going to start at the very bottom, at base camp, looking at the trap of worldly desire. Then we'll make our way up to our first two high-altitude camps, the imperturbable and then the base of nothingness. But it's near the very, very peak when we face this ultimate attachment that the true meaning of liberation gets revealed. All right, let's start the climb.
Any great journey starts with figuring out exactly where you are right now. So before mapping out the path forward, the Buddha first diagnoses this fundamental problem that, all of us face in our daily lives, this alluring but really unstable nature of worldly pleasures.
The text kicks off with a concept we all know inside and out, kama, or sensual pleasures. We're talking about the sights, the sounds, the feelings we're always chasing, from an amazing meal to just endlessly scrolling through our phones. But the Buddha frames these with a real note of caution. He says they're not just harmless fun. They're the domain of Mara, the embodiment of temptation itself. So this isn't just about pleasure. It's a potential battlefield for your mind.
And it's the Buddha's description of these pleasures that's so eye-opening. First, he says they're anicca, they're impermanent, they never last. Next, they're tucca, which means hollow. They lack any real, lasting substance. Then they're musa, or false, because they promise a happiness they just can't deliver. And finally, mosadhamma. They are inherently deceptive. I mean, what a powerful diagnosis. The very things we run after for satisfaction are by their very nature a trap.
Okay, so if that's the trap, how do we start climbing out of it? Well, the text introduces our first major destination on this climb, a state called āneñja, the imperturbable. And this is a deep, profound mental stillness, a foundation of peace that is completely unshaken by anything happening in the outside world.
And this teaching isn't just some abstract idea. It's practically a training manual. The Buddha lays out 3 different paths to get to this imperturbable state. For one, you can develop a mind that's so vast and boundless it feels like it just contains the whole world. Or you could try to deconstruct reality, seeing all physical forms as just their basic parts: earth, water, fire, and air. Or, a third way, you can just directly watch how fleeting every sight, sound, and feeling is and realize none of it is worth holding on to.
So, from this first base camp of stillness, the climb keeps going. The path now leads to even more subtle and refined states of mind. It's guiding the practitioner to move beyond the physical world completely, to a higher, more rarefied altitude of consciousness.
I want you to imagine letting go of not just things, but the very idea of things. That is the next destination, āneñja, the base of nothingness. Now, this isn't some empty black void. It's a really profound state of concentration where the mind just stops landing on any object at all, where that whole distinction between the seer and the seen just dissolves.
And just like before, the Buddha gives us this practical toolkit with 3 distinct ways to get there. One path is to simply recognize this objectless state as supremely peaceful compared to everything else. Another is to investigate it really deeply, realizing that it's totally empty of any permanent self. And a third, and this one is a radical act of release, is to contemplate I am not anything to anyone anywhere. These are just incredibly powerful tools for dismantling our core sense of who we are.
Now think about this. Having reached these incredible, sublime states of consciousness, you would think the journey's over, right? This is the peak. But like with any great climb, reaching the summit presents a new, totally unexpected challenge. And this is where the teaching delivers its most critical lesson.
At this very point, the Buddha's attendant, Āneñja, asks the absolute perfect question. He asks if a practitioner who reaches this pinnacle, this perfect, peaceful equanimity beyond all things, is actually finally liberated. And the Buddha's answer, it reveals a danger that is so subtle it can trap even the most experienced climbers just inches from the real summit.
And right here is the Buddha's crucial distinction. He says some who reach this state are free, and some are not. And the difference? One person delights in it. They grab onto it. They identify with it, making it the new thing they're attached to. For them, consciousness is still dependent on something, and they are not free. The other person experiences the exact same state but does not cling.
Their mind stays independent, unattached even to this supreme peace. They are the ones who are truly liberated.
So this just flips the whole goal of the path on its head, doesn't it? It isn't about collecting cool spiritual experiences or planting a flag on some meditative peak. The ultimate aim is way more radical. It's the complete and total release of the mind from every single form of grasping, even grasping for enlightenment itself.
And this is the final, crystal clear definition of freedom. This is the deathless, the Buddhist says, amatam. And what is it? It's simply this, anuparachittasavimokho, the mind's release through non-clinging. That's it. It's not a place you get to. It's the very act of letting go of arriving anywhere at all.
So after laying out this entire extraordinary map of consciousness, the Buddha doesn't end with some abstract philosophy. He brings it right back down to earth, with a direct, personal, and totally timeless instruction.
He turns to Āneñja, and really by extension, he's turning to all of us. And he says, here are the roots of trees. Here are empty huts. Meditate. Do not be negligent. The path has been shown, the instructions have been given, the final teaching is just, now it's time to do the work. The map isn't the territory. And the question this text leaves us with is, now that we've seen the map, where will we begin our walk?